'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nick would soon be there. Merry Christmas, my fellow Alaskans, and thank you guys all for being here today. Thank you for all that you have done this past year. We appreciate everything that you guys have done to help us accomplish the goals that we have set out, and we have by far surpassed them all. Many things have been going on in our great state, from the great snow Armageddon that had happened to the wind apocalypse that had occurred over the past day. Many of you are probably like me, walking out their doors for the first time since yesterday when you hibernated and tried to keep warm. The snowdrifts are abound everywhere you look. I had to dig out my steps just to go turn on the truck and get the sleigh running for another day of winter wonderland out there. Reports on the road system say that the current weather out there is a balmy, chilly, in some places, -degrees. Stay warm, keep safe. The snowdrifts are still in parking lots all over the place. Side roads have still not yet been completely cleared out. The road crews are working diligently to get that done. Be patient. A lot of places are really accessible. Businesses are reopened today. A lot of them that I was supposed to go and work at yesterday, one of the two was actually open, the other one was closed. And then I did try to go to one of my Christmas stops just because it was a few blocks away and couldn't even get into the parking lot. As I was driving home last night, a big old sign came flying off of the side of the road. You know, one of those political signs. I won't say which candidate that it was, but let's put it this way. They made lots and lots of money from the far left to run their Republican campaign out here in the Valley, and thank God they did not win. But we got good news on the political front. If you guys have all been keeping up on the trial with me here for the past week, Representative David Eastman, and I am proud to say that as one whole thing, Representative David Eastman is going to Juneau. The Superior Court Judge McKinnon has declared that Representative Eastman is eligible and capable of serving in Juneau, and that the lawsuit has been squashed. The plaintiff's case, based solely upon the actions of what others had done, being the fault of anyone who may have been associated to that group, whether they were a card-carrying member or received an email. They were all classified as guilty as charged for what a few people had done. Those of us that followed it from the very beginning know that the Oath Keepers, a chapter of about 38,000 strong, made up of military men, police, women, first responders, anybody that has taken the oath to the Constitution has joined this group. They have done great community good throughout the years since they first started, helping out during hurricane relief, tornadoes, you name it, you name the natural disaster, they were a part of it. It wasn't until around 2016 and on that they actually started getting more active into what you would classify as the political environment out there, starting to provide security from the far left radical extremists out there like Antifa and the Black Lives Matter. But nobody wants to talk about that because those over there on that side don't matter. It's only what the far right extremists do. Now, we could label everybody as far left and far right, and we just never seem to get any place because it's always the same group. It never fails. It's the same people over and over and over again that are causing these problems to happen. The difference is, depending on which side of the fence you are on, One gets locked away forever. The other one's out on bail in less than 24 hours or no bail at all, just completely set free to go right back out there and do it all over again. Many businesses are still recovering from their looting, rioting, and burning down of their businesses out there. Economy has still not recovered. California, I mean, right now that is the place to live if you have Christmas shopping to do. You don't even have to pay for anything. Just go right on in, fill your bags, and walk right back out the door again. Shopping made easy. I tell you, that's the way things are going. All right, on a local front, this is gonna be real short today, but I'm gonna cover a lot of topics. Local front, we've got the new political environment. We have the Senate that has been made up of the Democrats, even though we voted Republicans in as the majority. Again, just as we've done for decades now, but the Democrats are in control and there is a binding caucus there. So these people that are in the majority there in the Senate are literally have already sold out our voices and votes for the final budget, no matter what is in it. So the Senate Finance has got all the power and all the control right now in the Senate. Everything that those I think it's 6 people, might be 7, but those 6 people that are there in the Senate Finance, they're going to dictate to the other 14 that are in the Senate, all 20 of them. Those 6 people are going to tell all of them, this is what you're going to vote on, and you're going to vote for it, and you're going to put a yes there because we made you part of the binding caucus because you sold out your constituents' voices and votes. Now, the House still hasn't declared where they align at, but from what I'm reading through all the different social media channels out there, including mainstream media, Louise Stutes has already been bargaining with the new incumbent, the candidate-elects that have just been there, people like Forrest Dunbar, Kelly Merrick, and I could keep going on down the list that are sitting there inside of the House of Representatives. Those folks, and can't forget Elise Galvin. I mean, man, just how extreme can the House of in Juneau actually be? But it's gone there. It's there. We Alaskans somehow voted these people into office. Well, the illegal binding caucus rule has never left the House. So no matter how it aligns, where the majority falls out, which we already know is going to be back in Democrat control again, they're already talking about the same members that were on the Finance Committee last year being there again here this year. So that means the bottom line is those that are in control of the House and the Senate Finance Committees are going to be telling everybody where our money is going to be spent. Now, if you listen to AM radio or maybe FM radio, but it's harder to receive those channels on, and you're listening to the daily podcast or the broadcasts of the different radio announcers when it comes to politics, you have been listening to commercials from Alaskans with common sense. And they are trying to tell us that the budget that the governor has put out with the full PFD just cannot be done. We have all of these things that you must consider. If we pay out a full PFD that the governor has proposed, we're going to have to cut the funding for education. We're going to have to cut the funding for your welfare that you receive out there in all the different categories. If you're homeless, you're going to continue to stay homeless because there's going to be no money for you. If you are someone that is in the nonprofits that collects hundreds of millions like the Ramsonson Foundation every single year from our state, local, and federal governments, they're crying their eyes out right now. Their funding is going to be cut off, even though the bulk of the hundreds of millions and billions that are being spent within our state only fall into the hands of about 20,000 people. The rest of us, 710,000 Alaskans that live here, we only get to see less than 10% of the entire budget that is being spent out there. The rest of it's all going to the government. 80,000 strong here in Alaska if you combine state and federal together. 80,000 people are involved or paid for through our budgets to them. And they're the ones that are putting out this advertisements right now. The Pandora's box will be opened if you do what's right by the people and follow the law. And that's their main goal, is to try to convince the sheep, the same ones that told us to vote no on the con are the same ones that are organized this new advertising campaign for the new upcoming season in politics in Juneau, that the budget the governor has proposed is unsustainable. They won't tell you how it's unsustainable other than the fact that money is not going to go to the special interests. It's not going to them. That's the unsustainable part. They don't like the fact that they're Alaskans, we Alaskans, would have an extra $2 billion floating through our economy right now, approximately, if they had paid a full PFD this past year. They don't want you to know that there will be another $3 billion this year that won't be floating through our economy, because they're going to spend it on the special interest, which goes into those, like I said earlier, the 20,000 of those 80,000 government employees' pockets. Those 20,000s are the ones are profiting off of those hundreds of millions. Our biggest budget item every single year is our free healthcare system. We're paying healthcare benefits to people that have healthcare benefits already given to them for free by our federal government. But instead of utilizing those first, they use our Alaska healthcare benefits first. And so we Alaskans, the taxpayers, are having to pay for that. There's billions that could be saved every single year if we had a government that actually cared about the people they're supposed to represent. But they don't. They only care about the top 20% and the money that goes to them. How can we do, what can we do to prevent another disaster over this next 2 years? I mean, we are set up to be screwed so bad because of makeup of who got voted in going down there to Juneau. What can we do? First off, start paying attention. If things are happening out there, people like me are streaming videos, there's a reason for it. We don't just do this because we have nothing better to do in our lives. We're concerned. We're concerned about the future of our generations to come beyond us. My children, their children's children. What are we going to leave them? What kind of mess are they going to inherit? We've got legislators right now that are talking about bringing back defined benefits. That put us over $20 billion in the hole the last time they did that. Fought for years to get rid of the defined benefit package program that they had. Finally, we're down to like $4 billion left to pay off the $20 billion hole that package had created in the past. Now we've got legislators going to Juneau this year that campaigned on doing exactly that. Bringing back those defined benefits that was bankrupting Alaska. And they say, we can't afford to give you a PFD, but we can give those 80,000 employees that work for government bonuses, raises. We're going to bankrupt the entire state to make sure our top 20% rake in the cash. We don't care how much you have to pay for it out of your own pocket. Many of you guys are probably like me right now and struggling. This Christmas is in, and you can see in the camera there, and I've got that's my Christmas tree there. Couldn't afford a real one. They're just too expensive. Not in my budget this year. You can see the amount of presents that are underneath the tree. There's not a lot of presents there underneath the tree. This isn't staged. This wasn't intentional. This is what my Christmas looks like this year. Why? Because I just don't have the money. My fuel oil to keep my house warm is costing me double what it did last year. I've had to fuel up twice because we've had a really cold winter so far. It's getting expensive. I paid double what I've done already last year, and it's not looking any brighter. My electricity bill just came in. It was astronomically higher than what I'd ever seen before. darn near, and I want to say darn near double, because it was real close to it for what I'm having to pay for my electricity this winter. I've never seen an electricity bill this high. Now, don't even get me started on going to the grocery store. A dozen eggs, $5 for a dozen eggs, and that was their cheap brand. The next one up from that was $6. The next one up from that was $11. Eggs that were $2.20 a year and a half ago are now $5 a carton for a dozen. We can't afford this. If any of you guys, and you got to be at that income level that you're not making it no matter what, don't care. If you're like me, you're at the middle class, the lower end of it, that sits real close to poverty, or you are in poverty. Anything you had in your bank account, anything you had in your savings, is being drained rapidly. Many people I know are already complaining that everything they had put away into savings is now gone. They've resorted to credit cards this year to buy Christmas gifts, because what they had in savings went to the hyperinflation, the overpricing of goods and services out there that's occurring. Nobody can afford their gas bills. Nobody can afford their electric bills. God forbid going to a grocery store. Just like everything else that I've described as double, almost triple the cost of what it used to be before. It's no different. It's draining us all dry. And we need to be actively going after our legislators, telling them what we need to do, what they need to do to help us. They are supposed to represent us, but they're not. They're representing the top 20%. Stand up, fight. All right, I am stepping off my soapbox. It is the night before, the day before Christmas, and everybody is excited. Got to get your last minute Christmas shopping done. If many of you tried like me, you couldn't get out the door yesterday. Today's the day, and warning you, a lot of these businesses are closing down early for Christmas Eve. So if you want to get your shopping done, you need to be on the road right now getting it done, which is why my vehicle's been running up. I just heard it turn off, so it went through its warming cycle. That's my cue to end this. God bless everybody out there. I hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas this year. Santa brings you everything that you want, everything that you've ever asked for, and hopefully Santa is not feeling the same inflationary crisis that the rest of the world, the United States, and here in America, and especially here in Alaska, are feeling this year, and is able to get all their wildest wishes and dreams. And their children are waking up the next day going, Santa, I know I was better than getting socks and underwear this year, and that's all you could bring me? Come on, Santa, why is that all you brought me? But, you know, Santa's probably feeling the same inflation prices there are. So, children, if you're watching this right now, please, 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 send thank you cards to Santa this year after this Christmas is over with. Whether you get what you want under the tree or not, times are hard. They're hard everywhere. And Santa, I know this year is going to feel really underappreciated, because this is going to be one of the toughest Christmases Santa has gone through in an extremely long time. Again, everybody out there, please, please, please have a very Merry Christmas. Stay safe, stay warm. Plug your vehicles in. It's supposed to still be really cold temperatures again tonight. Negatives here where I'm at right now. You guys all have yourself a very wonderful, very Merry Christmas. And we'll see you all next week. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings to you, you and my friends. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.